Hi, my name's Erica Lowry, and I will be doing why we should keep the Stand Your Ground law. So, as we know, many of you have heard recently about the Stand Your Ground law because of the George Zimmerman, I believe his name is, shooting against the young kid Martin. So that has raised a lot of flags for the law of the Stand Your Ground law in Florida. Just to give you a little introduction on reasons why we should keep it, I believe that this law has a good reason behind it, that it's like a protection law, so it has good reasoning why it became a law. Also, this law is a pro-women law. It has a lot to do with if, say, I was walking down the street and I felt threatened or something, or someone tried to pull me in or something, I have the right to defend myself, and that means the right to deter them from doing that by all means. Everyone should have the right to defend themselves, I believe, and you should have the right to defend your family and your friends and anyone that you see that is feeling threatened. You should have the right to help them. So basically what the Stand Your Ground law is it simply says if you have the right to be somewhere and if you're not breaking any laws, then you may have the right to defend yourself and prevent imminent death or bodily harm. You do not, however, have an obligation to do so. So this means you don't have to if you don't want to. But you do have the right to if you feel like you need to. So basically, it's a choice. You don't have to do this if you're feeling like you shouldn't. But if you do feel threatened, most people just have that fight or flight kind of reaction in them and decide to do harm to the person that's going to harm them, because the person's obviously trying to harm them, so they obviously try to harm them back. Some statistics I found were that 21 states in the U.S. actually have a similar Stand Your Ground law. It's not necessarily the same one Florida has, but they're all similar, as in why you should be able to protect yourself, or reasons like how you should be able to, and so also justifiable homicides are climbing with the Stand Your Ground law, because when you kill someone, when someone's trying to hurt you, it's justifiable because it was self-defense. So that statistic's going up. Nationally, justifiable homicides by private citizens have been slowly rising since 2005, which in 2005 is when the Stand Your Ground law became in Florida. The number in 2010, which is the last full year that they measured by the FBI, showed that 278 such killings, the most in 15 years, actually. The FBI uses more of a methodology than Florida, only counting those people who are slain during the commissions of felonies. Also, another reason why a lot of people actually do want to keep the Stand Your Ground law is gun ownership people really do believe on keeping this. It goes against gun ownership people for citizens, and so the people that actually really like this law is the people that are the anti-gun voices. They are really sticking up for the law to be removed. Also, another huge statistic for this law is that U.S. murders actually have gone down by 9% since 2005. So that's just an overall estimate for the whole USA. A big counter-argument that I have is I'm taking a deeper look into some research of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and I came across a statistic of data that shows that firearm-involved murders have increased since they have increased 28% since 2005. Overall crime is down 19% over the same period. But either way, it's a 12% increase of murders in Florida. So that's a pretty big increase in Florida since 2005. Because it went from 881 in 2005 murders to a total of 987 in 2010. So that's a big counter argument that if I was, arguing my view to someone else, that's something that they would definitely probably bring up. Another big counter argument that most people would bring up is Martin, the guy that passed away by the shooting of George Zimmerman, who was intentionally released after shooting since he had duty to run from a fight with Martin. So this is a huge, huge subject that most people would come up with a counter argument. They say that, if when I heard this story on the news, I myself automatically was like, that law's stupid, that should be taken out. However, after doing research, it was more that I just kind of felt bad for Martin and his family, and I felt like Mr. Zimmerman totally took full advantage, and the kid wasn't even doing anything, because I remember he just had some like Cheetos or something. He had Skittles with him. He didn't have a gun or anything, and he wasn't doing any harm. So I just really felt bad, and that's why at first my immediate reaction, and probably half of the world's immediate reaction that saw the news, if not more, because this is kind of just our feelings right after we see a case like this, is that we want the law gone. But that's not necessarily true all the time. We need to do research before we say a certain law needs to be gone, and actually figure out what the law involves and who's it meant for, and why it started coming up, and the statistics on it has a lot more to do than just with one case. So should we go by Florida's summary of murders? Because I know that their summary of murders has been higher. But then when I did USA's total, which more places than Florida have this law, the Stand Your Ground law, it was lower by, I believe, 9%. And yes, the Stand Your Ground law has its flaws, which pretty much every law has some flaws. But the government is taking an initiative, they're setting limits, I guess. I don't know what I was trying to say, but they're setting limits to fix the Stand Your Ground law so that now people have limits when they do it, and it's going to help improve the law, definitely. And that was my presentation. I hope I answered any questions that you've had, and I hope I persuaded you to be like, the Stand Your Ground law should be still here. We just need to put laws on limiting who should be able to use it and when should be able to use it. Thank you.